Because our vision doesn't just something we cast out at the beginning of the year. It's something that should really guide how we build relationships with our students. First off, congratulations! We have reached the final stop of our Ready, Set, Prep Roadmap Success Summit. If you've been following along with these YouTube videos, and maybe you've even used your Ready, Set, Prep Roadmap workbook as a way to guide how you are going to be prepared this school year. Now, that is one thing that I wish someone had told me my first year, was that all I needed to do was just plan everything out. But that's just the start. You've worked to spend time to pause, reflect, plan, and really be intentional about what you want your classroom to look like. This time, this planning that you did is just the start. There's an opportunity for you to use this as your roadmap for the entire year. And as you are guided down the path and maybe you forget some of these things, the great thing is you can always come back to what you wrote down, the intentions, the things that you dreamed and hoped for your classroom and for your students. Because our vision doesn't just something we cast out at the beginning of the year. It's something that should really guide how we build relationships with our students, how we build our classroom management, how we choose to support our students in our classroom, the way that we plan our lessons with students in mind, and how we structure our classroom so that it fits for our students and maybe does some of that teaching for us. Now, teaching is going to have hard days. As we know, just like you would if you were traveling down a path, if you were on a hike, there's going to be things that you have to avoid, you have to watch out for, and maybe even need to pivot and turn around and go a different direction. And that's okay. Just because you have to make a change, things didn't work out, maybe you have to repair a relationship or work to build relationships more with some students or families. That doesn't mean that teaching is over or that it defines you as a bad teacher, because we're always going to have hard days. We're going to have lessons that flop or don't work. But a lot of those things that make us feel like we're not a good teacher are outside of our control, and unfortunately we take those on. We have, as educators, have such a heart to help. And when somebody doesn't take that help, it can be a direct attack or just a hurt that we take on. So as you approach those mountains or you feel like you're sliding backwards, come back to that classroom vision that you built in our Vision Vista, our first episode, and be reminded of why you wanted to become a teacher. What were the things that you want to be defined for? Because before you know it, it's going to be the end of the school year, and students are going to be packing up their bags, they're going to be signing yearbooks, and they're going to be hugging their new friends. And you're going to look around and say, wow, not only have my students grown in height, but they've grown academically, they've grown socially, and they've accomplished so much. Their confidence has been built. They've grown and shared their kindness with others. Those are the things, that is the summit, that's the place where we want to go. And so as we envision that dream at that end point, we can work backwards and just be reminded that each day is one intentional step. It doesn't necessarily define the path, but we have that control to make a different step, to change things if they're not working, and that doesn't define us as a bad teacher. So I want to encourage you to continue. If you don't have your Ready, Set, Prep roadmap, feel free to get that resource, but also just come back to creating a classroom vision and really being rooted in that, having it in a place where you will be reminded of it so that it doesn't become the end of the year and you've forgotten that intention you set, all of that hard work. I want to encourage you this school year and let you know that I'm cheering for you, rooting for you, and if you ever need anything, please feel free to reach out. I'm on Instagram, but you can also drop a comment below. I want to see you have a successful year and that you build a classroom your students will remember.